Hi, everybody. Welcome to another off-season episode with Alto Call. Thankfully, this is the last off-season episode because they finally gave us a date for MAFS. And today I have a very special guest with me. I have Kara from Everybody's Business But Mine. Hi, Kara. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, it's been a while. I was looking past for the last time you were on our show, and I can't believe it was 2022. Can you
Well,
believe
that's
that?
wild. Yeah, that's the time is a thing, right?
It's just a construct right now.
Right.
So today, we are going to be discussing Bravo's Housewives franchises. So we're going to talk about Salt Lake City, New York, Potomac, and OC. But before we get into it, I will share with you guys a little bit of housekeeping. Like I mentioned, MAFS is coming back, and it is back with a matchmaking special first. And the usual Kevin Frazier and his panel are going to do a kickoff special. I promised you guys that I was going to watch the matchmaking special this season, so I will. I will not be covering it, but this time I'll be armed with matchmaking special knowledge, so no one comes back and is like, "Oh, they said this in matchmaking." So, if you're interested, let me know what you thought about it. But then the season starts next week, and we'll be back to cover it all and hope for a better season. And since Maps is back, Love is Blind recaps will be moving over to Patreon. And there'll also still be after party recaps on Mondays. But you can still catch the first episode recap of Love is Blind on the regular feed that I did with Nana. And look out for the rest on Patreon. And that's on patreon.com/autocallmaps. Cara, are you watching Love is Blind?
I have not started, but yes, I will be. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard it's already messy, but I'm not surprised it's DC. So, no
Hey,
offense,
hey,
no
hey.
offense, but I mean, y'all know.
Yes, yes, yes. It's just a lot. The first batch is like 6 episodes, and I'm seeing people that had already watched it, and I'm like, how are you getting to it? Like, it's just a
I,
lot.
I
But
I truly don't understand. Like, I watch TV for a literal living, and I'm just like crawling through things. And my friends are like, "Oh, I already finished the whole thing." I'm like, "How? It just came out 15 minutes ago."
that's how I felt. But yes, I like it. I've seen half and half. Some people are like, "Oh, it's not so good," but I kind of like it. Like it's messy, yes, but I think so far it has the balance of love. I know well enough to know, like, it might not last, but I'm playing along, so it's good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like with Married at First Sight, that it helps to have people that you can actually believe in. Like when it's all
Yeah.
mess, it's not fun.
Yes, yes. I think the internet is also ruining everything. Not just, Love is Blind, it's just all the shows because you can't even like act along. The internet is going to come out with something and kind of spoil something. So it's
Mhm.
just the age that we're in, but
Yeah,
it's entertainment. I always have to remind myself of that.
right.
Okay, back to Bravo, the Bravo verse. I want to ask you, what is your general feelings about the Housewives franchise? Where are you with it all overall?
I think for the past few years, there's been just like a general feeling of like malaise about the whole thing
Hmm.
and different disappointments because, we're recasting and rebooting and all of that. Through it all, it's been tough. It's been
Yeah,
tough.
yeah,
We're all linked arms and just trying to get through it. I, you know, I loved old New York. I love my OG girls. But I'm also like very happy with our new girls. I'm not too precious when people leave and people have to go and like it can be a bummer, but I'm along for the ride. What I would really like is like some of the old school things to come back, like the on the fly talking heads, like where they were asking them, like, in Atlanta in the middle of the street how they're feeling, and like Lindsay Lohan's daddy's in the background. Like that's the kind of stuff I wish we could get back to. But overall, like I'm happy, but we're in a different era where I think
yeah.
people are expecting a lot, but like, we've just evolved and changed and we have to just adapt.
I am on the same page as you are. Like, speaking specifically about Roni, like, I don't think anyone can take away from what Roni was. I'm biased to Atlanta. I always say that's my favorite. But then if someone
Mhm.
asked me, which franchise should I start with? I always used to tell them Roni because it's
Mhm.
just a slam dunk. And
Yes.
those women were just very special. Like, especially like they were a little older than the rest of the franchise, but they understood the assignment to the very T. And
Right.
you can't create like what is it, lightning in a bottle twice or something,
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
but they're gone. And new Roni is here, and it's just the times. I honestly can't believe that Bravo let old Roni go. Like that's still very surprising to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think we can blame Jill's Aaron for that, for her trying being a little greedy and trying to get a big check, and
Yeah,
now she's like, "Well, I guess I'll just move to Florida then," and now all these ladies are jobless and lonely. And
yeah.
Luann.
I was at there was a Housewives Night Out event in DC
Mhm,
last weekend, and it had Lisa Barlow, Melissa Gorga,
mhm,
Dorinda, and Karen.
mhm.
And Dorinda did mention, the whole thing about the big checks and all that. And I found that the audience were just like boo to new Roni. And Dorinda was trying to be, PC and was like, it's okay. Like, I don't hate them. The only thing I'll say is like they're too aware of the cameras. And I don't think I thought too much about that, but I think I do agree with her.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I would say so, like, Aaron especially, I think, is very aware. I mean, really all of them to a
all
degree.
of
I mean,
them. Hmm.
Ty obviously came on this season and was like, "I went to therapy, like, as soon as the we started filming the reunion, and, like, she's clearly hyper aware. She's really the one for me that I have the hardest time with because
Yeah.
I find her just so rough, to deal with and to it's just a hard pill to swallow for me. And I
Yeah.
really wanted to like her because 'cause I'm like, "Ah," like, we get, like, another Brooklyn girl that's, like, not Alex, but, like, somebody who's truly from Brooklyn, and, like, I wanted to see what that was like, and, then we got Cy, and that's really unfortunate.
Oh, she had a rough first season.
Yeah.
That it was just hard to watch. Like it's not
Mhm.
like when Dorinda's last season, she was just mean, but in
Yeah.
some way it was entertaining, even Bethany, but Size was just mean and it was just not fun. And it was
Yeah.
just like, what are you going through, girl? But yes, I think they're all aware of the cameras in their different ways. Like Jenna being so self-conscious, not wanting to share her girlfriend. I'm torn in that regard because I'm like, if you don't want to show your whole life, why are you on a reality show?
I agree. I
And
agree.
this dip in, dip out, half and half. We're clearly aware you're hiding something, and it's just she was on Watch What Happens Live and is like, maybe I got married. So this is whole other life, and we're aware of it that it's not being shown. So we are aware that we're missing something.
Yeah, I
Um
think it's the, like, kinda wink to the camera that so like you said, like, something is going on and I'm just hiding it from you, whereas, like,
mhm.
you could be, like, Sonia, like, we never saw her daughter Quincy, and that was totally
Yeah,
fine, like, we weren't missing anything from her,
yeah.
but it's like, yeah, these constant being like, "Yeah, I have something," like Cat and Canary kind of vibes where I'm like, "I don't really want that." Because it just feels like
Mhm.
you're playing games with me and being dishonest rather than, like, this is something that you truly wanna protect, which would be fair.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And then speaking of winking at the camera, that's my problem with Bryn.
Yeah,
Like
mhm.
I think she's
In a different way.
fun, but I think
Yeah.
she thinks everything is a gotcha, winking mouth open, pointing at the camera.
Yeah,
Everything is not a burlesque show. Like just be yourself.
right, right. Yeah, she's, like, a little too cutesy, like, this is not what
Yeah.
Jules was asking for, this is not like, yeah, it's very, like, shimmy and a shake, and I just, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't need it.
And then with Aaron, I guess we're gonna get a different Aaron this season because that whole scene with her husband was very weird.
Very weird, very dark. I wish I could think of who said it, but they were like, "I feel like Erin is somebody we should like, and yet she
Mm.
makes it difficult." Like, something
Yeah.
there's just, like, a disconnect there.
Yeah.
again, like it's a different version. All of them have different versions of being too aware of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, Erin's version makes her like a little shrill and like not fun. Whereas I see that there are probably times where like if we could get Erin like if I just saw her like at the bar, she'd be like the white girl that I was in line with, or I was like, "You're my bestie," you know. Like,
Yeah.
but, like this girl, I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. What was I going to say? I think that authenticity goes a long way, and you would think in 2024 anyone who's going to be on a reality show would know that, and I think that's why Jessel was the breakout star.
Mm-hmm.
Whether by accident or not, I do think she was being herself,
Yes, she
and
very
somehow,
herself. Mm-hmm.
yeah, somehow she became the breakout star, and now Sai is trying to suck up to, which everybody predicted. Everyone knew, but like season two,
Fully. Mm-hmm. She was
she was
gonna
gonna
try to
be
get with
like,
the winning team. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And that's where we are. So, I mean, I guess, I don't know, the newbies, do you have any thoughts yet? I mean, it's just one episode on Rebecca Minkoff and I forget the other lady,
Raquel, I
Raquel.
love Raquel immediately. I
Yeah.
I just found something about her so intriguing. I think just because like we have started seeing more queer women
Yeah.
and women in relationships with women on these shows, but like I don't know. I think it's like the two women of color in a relationship and like I I find her girlfriend or her fiance very intriguing. I don't know, like
Hmm.
something about their vibe is just like very cool but not too try hard.
Yes. That's exactly what I like about her. For her, she's just like, this is me. What you see is what you get, whether you like it or not my problem. And I think that's going to go a long way.
Mhm.
Although, I mean, Rebecca Minkoff telling us that she tried to get Jenna, hey, let's stir up some drama. And Jenna was like, I'm not about that life. I'm like, what is that about? And why are you telling us that you did that?
Chop. That is a chop for me. I heard about her joining the show before it was announced, and I was sworn to secrecy, mostly because I was told by my source that she was very boring,
Oh.
and that, like, that was the tea. The tea that I got was she was so boring, they didn't even know how she was going to be on this show and make it be worth it. So I just I don't have a lot of hopes for Rebecca. I don't think even her like salacious Scientology background is even going to matter.
Hmm.
Like I don't think I don't think it's I don't know.
Why did they add new people? I guess is
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I wonder if well, no, I was going to say I wonder if Jenna was kind of leading them on, but here she is at the very opening party, so that can't be true.
hmm.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Maybe they were worried about Psy. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. I would have been happy having the same girls do a season 2 and then maybe season 3 we can add some
Yeah.
other people.
Exactly. I mean, I have all these thoughts about the franchise. Like, I truly believe that they need to start from scratch for all of them. Like,
Mm,
whatever, how they did Roni, they need to do it for all of them, no matter how beloved. I didn't think they'll go this far with Atlanta. That still makes me so sad how either Atlanta is leaving or how it's coming back. I don't have high hopes
yeah, I
for
don't either.
whatever this season is going to be because it's just a hot mess.
Yeah,
So,
the whole Kenya thing. I mean, I don't know how you feel about Kenya, but she's always been very stressful for me. So to find out that she's like gone completely out the window, even more than she usually does, I just felt exhausted already, and
yeah.
they had barely even filmed that season at that point.
Exactly. And I wasn't even sold on the cast. I'm
No,
just like,
nope.
yeah, everybody's hedging their bets on Portia. And I'm like, Portia is great, don't get me wrong, but you need to have a good supporting cast. That was what was wrong with the last season. Yes, Kenya was there, but Drew was there, but they didn't get along. They hated each other. And that's what I mean by starting from scratch and going back to the basics of how they used to cast. They
Right.
used to cast, it was like a long process, interview them, follow their lives, and it used to be actual cast of friends. This
Mhm.
whole thing of throwing something on the wall, hoping it sticks and hoping they become friends, it's not working. And that's why they have, more cast changes all the time and then they don't give them time to settle. I have a rule that I think that every housewife except Nneka deserves 2 seasons. At the very bare minimum, I
Mhm.
think, to settle, to figure themselves out, to get their allies or whatever it is. But when you start throwing people hoping they get along, what you're going to get is a disjointed story. And I think
Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you earn can be in your hands today with EarnIn. EarnIn is an app that gives you access to your pay as you work, up to $100 per day or up to $750 per pay period. Just download the EarnIn app and verify your paycheck. Then access up to $100 a day as you work and leave an optional tip. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Whether it's a special gift for a loved one or needing help early with rent this month, make EarnIn a part of your financial routine and join EarnIn's over 3.5 million customers who say things like, when I think about EarnIn, I think about financial stability and security. It gives me a lot of peace of mind. Download EarnIn today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the EarnIn app, type in AltaCall under podcast. When you sign up, it'll really help the show. That's AltaCall under podcast. Subject to your available earnings, location, daily max, and pay period max. See earnin.com/TOS for details. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Bank products are issued by Evolve Bank and Trust, member FDIC. If you're looking to try something new to achieve your weight loss goals, try Mochi Health. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visits with board-certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medication delivered to your door. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science-backed FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, support from real doctors, and guidance from registered dietitians that help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve results. You can get started at joinmochi.com. That's JOINMOCHI.com. And be sure to use the code ALTACALLMAFS, ALTARCALLMAFS, to receive $40 off.
that's what made Roni great. These women have known each other for a long time and they need to just go back to that because I like new Roni, but I have to admit that there's some kind of disconnect that is not because it's being compared to old Roni.
Yeah. Yeah, I could definitely see what you mean about that. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I'm hopeful for our girls, and I'm not nearly as like boo about it as I've seen a lot of people on
Yeah,
social
yeah. They need to just let old Roni go. I think that's what the problem is.
for
Is
sure.
just let it go and let it go. Oh, well, I don't know. I have hopes for this season. I don't know if Uba plans on sharing her man. I don't know also what's going on with Uba because she's supposed to be in her happy phase, but she's also like I don't know, a little erratic, so I don't know what's happening
Right.
there.
Right.
With
I
Uba.
love Uba, but she's a hard one to fight for because she is very unpredictable.
Yes, very, very predictable. So yeah, they had a decent premiere episode, so we'll see how the season go. I wouldn't say it was as strong as Salt Lake City,
Mhm.
which I should tell you, Cara, my unpopular opinion is I think Salt Lake is overrated.
Mm.
Because I've seen a lot of people say that's their favorite franchise right now and it's so great. And I'm like, my thing with Salt Lake City is they've always had a shining something, whether it was Jen going to jail, whether it was Monica creating something. The rest of everything is so boring to me. And I don't think the women really like stand up. Like it really showed when Whitney and Heather on Ultimate Girls Trip. Did you watch that?
Mhm.
When they were on and all the girls were like, is this what they're fighting about? Like you could see like they were
Right.
reading like the JV cast of
Yeah.
the franchise. So they've always had something that makes them, oh, receipts, timelines, or Jen is doing something. But I'm like, how are they going to maintain a storyline without any of those breadcrumbs to help them? And this season to me is like their make or break. And I'm very willing to eat my words because I thought their premiere episode, that dinner party, was fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
I agree. I do I think because I view Salt Lake very differently. Like, I don't view it like a traditional housewives show. I view it
Mm.
as women performing housewives theater. And almost like, what is the show that Casey and Danielle from Bitch Sesh did? They did like a housewives
Oh,
parody
hot
for like years
wives of,
Hot
yeah.
Wives, yes.
Hmm.
Almost like if you view it like Hot Wives, it's so much more fun and funny because it's
Oh
like,
my
how do these women exist in real life? It's truly incredible.
God.
But yeah, you're right. Like, they've always benefited off of having one wackadoo, and they're
Yeah.
all kind of reacting to that. But I'm excited about Bronwyn. I said on my podcast that she's got a really great thing, which is that she's smarter than everybody, and also
Yeah.
that's going to be the worst thing for her. And
Yeah.
I'm looking to see her navigate that.
I listened to your recap of it, and I laughed when you said that because it's true, because I liked Bronwyn, but by episode 2 she's doing that thing that the new newbies are doing all the time, where they come in so hot,
Hmm.
which is fun, but hers is in a different way. I think all
Yeah.
the other newbies kind of go for the top dog and they want to just make a name for themselves, but Bronwyn is just coming in hot and just leveling it against Heather, which is
Mhm.
why I don't really mind. I don't like Heather.
Right.
And here's another thing:
Right.
Salt Lake just has unlikable people. Anyone asks me who is your favorite Salt Lake housewife, I don't know how to answer that. And I cringe to say that right now. It might be Lisa Barlow. That's a lot for me to get out
Yeah.
because that is a whole thing. But I find that they're all unlikable. So, but anyways, but her leveling against Heather is because it's Heather. I don't care. But she is kind of coming for someone that is a OG or a veteran, but she's standing her own ground. Dorinda said it at the Housewives thing that she hates when they come in, they need to give some respect and all that.
Yeah.
Yes, but if someone's coming for them, they have to stand up for themselves. And Heather is coming in hot of trauma
Mhm.
from Monica, but you were with Jen for like what, 3 seasons and you were fine. Like, no,
Right.
no.
Right. Inconsistent, and it just very high school,
Yes.
very into the hierarchy and the dynamics. Like, she was hiding behind Jen for whatever
Yes.
reason. I still think that there are probably three bigger reasons for her reason, or for why she was so protective of Jen, that we're never going to find out. But we're never going to
Uh,
find out.
Tara, yeah, what are the three?
I receipts, proof timeline. But I I feel like she now feels like, okay, I slayed Monica. I had this big moment, and I clocked it when this was happening, when she was smacking her hands and doing the
Mhm.
monologue, that this was like her getting her lick back from something in high school where she didn't feel cool enough. And now she's like, I got all my girls behind me, and we're going to go after this bitch, and I'm going to take her out. And now see her, like, and now she's like, 25 pounds down and
Mhm.
really feeling herself, and Monica's gone, and now she's like, oh, I'm the HBIC, and I'm just gonna like treat people however, and treat them like how I felt like I was treated. And I see
Yeah.
this, and so I'm like, you, very happy that if Bronwyn's gonna go after anybody, it should be Heather, because Heather, unfortunately, I hate to say this about women, but Heather does need to be humbled.
Mm, big time.
Hmm.
And I tried to give her grace. Was it season 1 or season 2 when she explained like her Mormon background, and maybe it's
Yeah.
the after effect of it, but when she started coming out and she was leaning heavy into the bad Mormon and all that, and I'm like, oh, all right, decide where you lean on. What side are you on? Are you still in the faith? Are you not in the faith? Because I feel like she picks and chooses what benefits her. And
Yeah.
it was just a lot of the, I'm one of the people, I'm regular people, and I'm not into self deprecation at all, which she does a lot.
Hmm.
I just don't think it's cute. And when she was an Ultimate's girl trip and was like, you know what, they're being mean to me, but at least they're talking to, like, no, you are a grown
Right.
woman, a
Right.
whole mother of adults. Like, it's not cute and it's not anything. So this whole thing with Bronwyn, especially when Bronwyn is kind of telling the truth. She told Whitney doesn't have a problem with it. Why are you like just on this all the time. Like, get over it. It's now too much. I just feel like she feels threatened.
Fully. It's the insistence that she is so clear on what Bronwyn said to Whitney, and that
Yeah.
what she said was incorrect or different from what she said to Heather and Lisa. And it's like, well, how would you know? You weren't there. It's not like you were there for both situations and you saw the difference. Like, and we did see both situations, and I didn't really see much of a difference.
Mm-mm. I don't get it. But part of what made that dinner party really great was all of them piling on Whitney. I don't know if it's
Yes.
mean or not, but it's Whitney. I don't care. They were right. Healing journey. And I'm like, I think it's in a preview where Lisa said something like, when you want to talk to me with facts, because all you talk about are your feelings, and I'm not ready to
Right.
deal with that. It's true. Like, Whitney's so messy, and Whitney is so thirsty and desperate to be a housewife that she's just manufacturing things in her head and just doing any and anything. And it's just, ugh, it's not
Yeah.
like fun.
Yeah, and that goes right into like one of the great parody moments where it's like they're just all like, "Yeah," and then and you did something to me, and then Heather screaming, "You exploited my vagina!" Like, and they're all just like hitting one over the other. It's so funny.
Chaotic, in fact. But what do you make of Whitney and Heather's relationship? Like, what is this hot, cold makeup breakup thing? Like, is Heather just attracted to being in dysfunctional relationships?
It's giving. And it really feels that way. Like, I don't really know that, like, has Heather really truly connected with anybody on this show? And maybe even the same for Whitney.
Mm.
Like, yeah, they came on the show like, oh, we're cousins or whatever, and we're like besties to the end. And then we find out like y'all met like 5 minutes before the show started. Like, y'all are like 17th, like, it wasn't really even that deep. Not like y'all were
Mhm.
hanging out since y'all were kids or whatever.
Mhm.
And then it's like, yeah, they let I don't even know if they let Lisa do this. I think they both wanted to be friends with Lisa and were willing to
Mhm.
throw the other one under the bus for that friendship. And
Mhm.
so now every time they keep saying like, "Oh, we're friends," it's almost like when Tamara and Vicky are saying that they're friends. I'm like, this is only going to last about 5 minutes before you're ripping each other's hair out. So whatever.
I just don't know why they bother making up. But
Right.
um at the event, Dorinda, every now and then Dorinda reminds me like she's just mean at her core, but this has nothing to do with this. I just remember that. But Dorinda just randomly brought up that she's not a fan of them bringing Mary back, that it's not fair that someone who refused to come to the reunion because it sets the precedence. And Lisa was like, yeah, if I don't feel like it because they're lying about me, I should just be able to not show up and not have any repercussions. Now, is there some truth to that? Yes.
Hmm.
But I'm going to stand up for Mary because I feel like, again, not like it's someone like I love, but they need comedic relief.
Yeah.
Mary is the comedic relief. Like, we don't know what is ever going to come out of her mouth. But also, Mary's the kind of person, Mary is like being graded on a curve. We can't grade Mary like everybody else.
Right. It would be weird to do so.
So, and then the audience was like, boo. And I was like, guys, I'm sure you could tell the audience, but I was just like, I think the cast understands that, and I appreciate them for understanding that. So when Mary's like, I'm not participating in this, they're like, okay, it's fine. Or when she couldn't fly with them, and Whitney's like, anybody else? I'd make a
Right.
big stink. But for you, you know what? You're coming, we'll take that. But I will say that Mary is participating this season, and it's kind of nice to see.
She is. She's definitely attempting. Attempts are being made. She's smiling. She's talking to people. She's getting out of the van, and so that's nice. It's weird to experience, but I like it. And yeah, like, you don't have to like Mary, and you probably shouldn't really, but he does give every time. And I'm sorry, like, her just like being like, yeah, I saw one of my people in the church just like tumble down a hill. Did they live? No. Anyway, like, and just telling casual stories about Jeffrey Dahmer and her colon and putting tampons places that they shouldn't be. Like, how can we'd be doing a disservice to ourselves by not letting this woman on our screens. And that's just the truth.
Exactly. Like it's just what it is. I don't understand how she became friends with Angie, but
No, neither does
that is
she.
that is the beauty of Mary
Right.
because it happened 5 minutes after she said she couldn't stand her, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden she liked her.
Yep.
But Angie is someone who I think, God, I hope I don't regret this. I want to say she has come into her own as a housewife because honestly,
Yeah,
Angie is someone who I thought was so thirsty. She's still thirsty, actually,
very.
but she's not as timid, I want to say, as she
Yeah.
was her first season. And she's fully owning the whole Greek thing. Like, I've been beaten into submission to just accept it for what I can't even get annoyed anymore.
No, yeah, it's camp now. I want it. More flags. More visors. Let's do it.
Seeing her at the Bucks game, I was like, did you know she was Greek just in case you missed it? That was crazy.
Uh,
But yeah, so it's fun to see that they're friends, and it was nice to see Mary empathize with Lisa about her son. Like that's how I know Mary's actually clocked in this season. She didn't just sit there giving stares, eating her food. She actually got up and went to give Lisa a hug. So that's cool.
right. And
That's
and see, we have to go back to why we can't like Mary is that, later this season, she will be calling baby gorgeous the R word. So,
yes.
we'll have to take a pause for that. But for now
Yeah.
we're here.
Do you think they're gonna air that? Because I
Pro-
don't
I
think they
I
will.
don't know. And to your point that you said earlier, like it seemed like Lisa didn't care and was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
hmm She says we've
crazy.
moved on. We're great because again, Mary's just not. Honestly, yes, I do think we should acknowledge that Mary does say offensive things. So for people who don't like
All the
her,
time.
completely understood. Like saying like what was it she said? Gucci doesn't make a size 14, so Heather's
Yeah.
stuff is fake. Seeing Heather and saying, "Oh, you look thin," like
She's deeply fat phobic.
very.
Deeply fat phobic. Like looking at
Oh,
Maylee coming down from that thing and being like, oh, I thought she was much smaller. Like, girl.
yeah, yeah. Even when Monica was there, she was like, "You don't want to eat this much," and then it stays
Right.
up. I'm like, okay. Um, yeah, so she is offensive, but again, grader on a curve, guys. Like,
Yeah.
please, it's not all, there. Newbies. Again, I don't know why we had to have newbies, but Brittany, I will let you
Whew.
share your thoughts on this woman who okay. Yeah, what do you think?
Sad. I mean, like I keep saying on my podcast, every time I see her, at her big age, just keeps popping up in my mind. Like, how like I've been truly down bad on a man. Like so like
Yeah,
it's been me. I've been
yeah.
guilty of this, but this is horrible. This is like L's for all of womankind the way she's letting an Osmond of all families treat
Mm-hmm.
her. Like it's so wild that he's so awful that they've broken up so many times. Like I'm 38 and I feel like if you broke up with me, okay, you don't exist anymore. Like I'm not getting back together with you 15 other times? Absolutely not. No. I can't imagine that. And the sad thing is that she completely knows that this not relationship is exactly that. And she keeps forcing people to like lie to her basically and be like, yeah, girl, that does make sense, even though she knows it doesn't make sense. And also, like, nobody cares because that ain't your man, girl. So I don't know what to tell you. It's sad. It is interesting to watch, though.
I don't know if it's interesting. I'm irritated every time I see it. I'm so irritated because, like you said, we've all been down bad for a man. No one's like faulting you, but not at this age,
Yeah,
not at the
it's wild.
expense of your children,
Right.
not even like someone who's saying you're my girlfriend and treating you bad. He's not claiming you. He's
At all.
not even wanting to pick up your calls.
Right.
And you given a toast that you went to Costco. Again, why we need Mary Cosby. Why do we care? We just
Right.
met you.
Right. Right. Yeah, right. Like you're announcing your it's not even a situationship.
It is not. It is absolutely not. And
He probably
even
just needed somebody to shop for him. Costco can be very overwhelming for a man, you know?
And even if you wanted to get back with him and do this many times, like have some pride. Don't tell anybody.
Keep
Do
it to
what
yourself,
everybody else does. Go back and be on the low. And then
right?
if it ends, it's no one knows. And if it
Right.
works out, then you can be like, well, what happened was, but this is just really sad. I think for me, children are the last straw. And if it's to the point, and she said it too, like, I've definitely picked a man over my children. And I'm
Mhm.
just, I get it that, when Heather explained, like, it's really hard when the Mormon culture and what it teaches you. But at some point, you got to do something for yourself, if nothing else. And not with this Osmond guy. He's not even hot enough for all this.
Not nearly. Like, this is Orange County behavior. You gotta find somebody at
Um,
least a little bit better looking.
yeah, to do that. But yeah, of course, Heather brought her in as a friend, so not shocked about that.
Right.
Yeah, I have nothing to say about Mei Lee. I don't know why she's on the show. I have no, I don't remember anything she's done in 2 episodes. And Bronwyn is a newbie, and we remember stuff about
Yeah.
her.
I got nothing for Maylee. Not a thing.
So yeah, so I think Bronwyn is gonna fit in really well. But this might be the fastest friendship dissolution we've ever seen on Housewives because it's 2 episodes and she's down with Lisa. I don't like how she's handling that, I have to say. Like she held it in and is like hasn't had a conversation with Lisa up until the end, but told everybody else. And I'm just
Mhm.
like, is she doing too much too soon?
Yeah, I think this might be where she's, like, a little too smart. Like, I think she's trying to make a very thorough point to Lisa, and
Mhm.
I don't know if we needed to go that far, but I still liked it.
So, gun to head, if you had to pick your favorite Salt Lake City character, who would it be? And why did I say character? Housewife.
Um, overall, I'm in the bathtub with Meredith Marks, I gotta say. I think she's just, like, silly, like, she comes on with, like, some completely unhinged and made up beef with Whitney of all people, and she just latches onto it, and she's probably on pills, and she's the richest one, so I love her.
Wait, do you really think it's unhinged? Because honestly, I kind of think she has a point.
Well, I feel like no, it's completely like, when we look back and see her official announcement of the bath bombs, it was Angie who was like, "Oh, you should make bath bombs." She's like, "Yeah, I should." It would like, that would not have stuck in my memory at all, like, whatsoever. So, no, I think it's so funny, and she just is so upset about it, and, like, she's coming for my business and my bath bombs, and, like, the fact that this actually upsets her is so funny.
This just gave me, I just got perspective. When you mentioned the flashback of how she came up with the idea, I remembered how, was it Luann who's claiming that she came up with Skinny Girl?
Right.
The name, and it was just a scene in there, so I see it in a different view now. Yeah, but I don't know why she's so attached to making bathtubs her thing. Like, we get it.
Exactly, it's hilarious.
But if Angie's sticking to Greek being her thing, maybe we just let her have it. You're
Just
right. You're
hear
right.
it. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's going to be a good season. I hope it lasts because Salt Lake City has a habit of the previews being much, much better than the entire season. But
Mhm.
so far, so good. So far, so good. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the ladies in my hood. RHOP. Potomac
Alright.
came back on Sunday. What did you think?
You know, it took me a couple times to watch. I got the screeners a few weeks ago, and
Mhm.
at first I was like, I don't know." The second watch, I'm like, okay." I just I feel like I was so disappointed by last season and the nastiness and the darkness that I was just like,
Mhm.
ugh, and then finding out Candace wasn't gonna come back, I was like, I just don't know, like, what we really have here. This was the first time I was really nervous about Potomac, but I think now I think I liked it, and I think we have somewhere to go. My fear is that this might become the Mia show, and it shouldn't be, because Mia to me is a lot like Marlo in the sense that she's great side character, and I want to
Hmm.
know more, but I don't want to know everything. I don't
Yeah.
need her at the main stage.
Yeah, it's like if you made Drew the anchor of
Right.
the show. It's not all complete and is not enough to be the mainstay. Yeah, because she had the, what do they hold? The middle cherry blossom or whatever, whatever it is they hold
Champagne flute.
in
Hmm.
champagne flute. Yes, she had that. Yes, when I heard the casting, a part of me was like, huh, should we have gotten rid of Robin?
Oh,
I'm
I okay.
I'm one of those who thought Robin should leave. But then when I saw this cast shakeup and I started thinking, if nothing else, I will always pick the authenticity of actual friendships over, like I said earlier, like just bringing new people and hoping they just get along. Now, if Robin had stayed and they just worked out their differences like Giselle seemingly has with Wendy and decided, listen, we're going to cut out all the shit and we're just going to go back to where we were before we took the show down the drain, maybe it would have worked. And then we don't have to see Juan because I don't, I think.
Right. I actually I take that back. If I had to, I was calling for Robin to stay and
Mm,
Giselle to leave, because I just think
mm,
that Giselle made Robin be super nasty, and it felt to me like Robin would be more willing to reconcile with people like Candace
yeah,
than Giselle would. Like, I was actually a little bit surprised that, like, first episode she's inviting Wendy. I mean, I don't really think
yeah,
it's like a true olive branch being extended, but
yeah,
something, more than I thought we were going to get.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, I also think it would have been good because Robin actually does have a storyline of that fuck ass husband of hers,
yeah,
whereas Giselle, it's like I love her daughters, and obviously the best thing about Giselle is her relationship with them.
yeah.
But it's like we already had one. My kid's leaving the nest and going off to college thing. Like that storyline gets tired for me very quickly, very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I only want to see it once. I can't do it again. And that's with everybody, not just Giselle.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I I think they think if they take Giselle out, that that's just a big shakeup.
Yeah,
But is it really?
I don't think so. I don't think it would
Yeah,
have been.
yeah, and it'll put the rest of the women on their toes. Like Giselle can get fired, any one of y'all can. But
Hmm.
I'm a huge Grand Dame fan, but
Agreed.
of course, I know that she's delusional,
Yeah.
and I know that she hides things,
Hmm.
but I don't fault her for
And
it.
it's fun watching her like be a diplomat about it and like try to PR her way out of it. Like that's fun.
Yes. And I appreciate her not being swayed by the women because they always try to be like, you need to pick sides. And she's like, no, I'm grown. You're not going to make me pick sides.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Hmm.
she makes it fun. Like, she's delusional, she's hiding stuff, and she's lying, but I don't care. Because someone was trying
Right.
to come for me on the ugly streets of Twitter, like, oh, but Karen does this. I was like, you're saying, like, I don't know. The problem is, I don't care what she's doing
You're not
because
kidding.
it's
Uh-huh.
entertaining.
Right.
So I don't know. I was going to ask. There was a Q and A session, and if I had gotten to my question was, does Karen think that Giselle made up with Wendy because Robin was fired? Like, did that shake her up? Because she's always like, we
Right.
don't care what people say, we don't care, I don't care, or whatever. But what? I mean, she tells us that it's because her dad died, but I don't know. Jizzy is cold hearted. I don't think that does
I
anything
didn't
to
buy that at all. Not
her at
one
all.
bit.
At all. But Karen does say that this season they're coming for her really hard and the newbies are coming for her and I'm like I hope not because it's just tired and I but you're right, I don't
Yeah.
know what other story Potomac is going to have. If Karen didn't have the DUI, what else are they going to talk about? I guess Mia, but even that feels ugly because children are involved.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Cuz like Ashley's just starting to date, and I'm using air quotes here, and okay, sure, we're going to pretend like she hasn't been dating for the past 2 years. Fine, I guess. Yeah, like Karen hides, but she'll like talk about it but hide it, whereas Giselle will just hide everything, and then Ashley will just like, keep haunting us with that husband of hers.
That she's never going to get a divorce from.
Never.
Wish Karen would be open about her open relationship with Ray
Mhm.
because, again, I truly believe most of her fans are like me. We don't care. As
Yeah.
long as both of you are on the same page, also is understand Ray's old. Like we get it. And you're like, whatever tweaks she's getting done, it's great. She looks fantastic.
Yeah, Ray spends half of his day going up the stairs so he can go to bed. Whereas, yeah, you're right. Like Karen's been she looks incredible. Like I saw her at that event. She was wearing that red leather dress, and her
Yeah,
body's giving. It's
yeah.
tea. Her face is tea. The hair's all together. Like she
Hmm.
looks great, and like she deserves to be out there and like having fun. You're completely right. Like who would really care? And also at this point, she's been like dropping hints about eye candy or whatever. So just say
Yeah,
it. You know.
yeah. Because oh, she's telling Giselle, like, oh, I'm having problems with Ray. Like, I don't feel supported. I don't feel that. But then she always wants to say, we're a united front. We're together. It's just,
Right.
it's different stories and you need to get it together. I will say, though, I am very surprised that Wendy's still here. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. I stand for Wendy. Um,
Hmm.
I'm with Happy Eddie. I'm smiling. I feel like Wendy has never really gotten a fair shake. Like I feel like she's always had to come on here scrapping with people, and we've never really had a season where she's been able to breathe. And so I think the other disconnect that people have with Wendy is that she tries to like counter that by being fun Wendy, and it isn't like authentic really. um Whereas like I think if people just gave her one season of a true break to just be herself, I think people would like her a lot more.
I'm trying to think back on the seasons because, I mean, she's my Nigerian sister, but I'm not a fan of Wendy. I just think she did the whole rookie thing and came on too strong, the
Yeah.
degrees thing. And you're right, she's always had to scrap, but she's not a, this is not a bad thing. Some people are just not likable people.
Yeah. Hmm.
And she's one of those who's just not like a likable person. So maybe she has to work harder to do that. But I just thought the producers hated her. I,
Mm,
like with the hot mic moment, with bringing Necker on, because I still don't understand what the purpose of that was, and
yeah.
all that. I just thought they hated her. So the fact that they kept her, I was just like, whoa, wow. Maybe because Candace left. Like if Candace stayed, would Wendy have been kept? I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know. That's a great
Do you,
question.
do you think Candace will come back after the baby?
I hope so. I don't get the vibe that she's completely closed the door. I think like she wants peace, and maybe when the baby can go to a little daycare, maybe we'll come back. I think the door is open for Candace, and I hope it is because I love her.
Okay. I got to like Candace in the last two seasons because everybody else became so unlikable. But
Mhm.
Candace and that mouth of hers, my goodness.
Mhm.
My goodness. And I think that's what Wendy had too. I think the Green Eyed Bandits became so unlikable that you couldn't help but be on Wendy's side because it's like, God damn, give the woman a break. Like, what are we
Right.
doing here?
Right.
So, yeah, but I don't know. I I hope they return to form because at some point, I think it was season four or whatever, where they hit their stride. This show was fantastic on all fronts.
Oh, it was incredible. Hmm.
Yeah. So, well, here's to the hope. All
Yeah.
right. Finally, OC. What do you generally think of OC through the years, the OG franchise?
Not my favorite. Probably racing for the bottom with New Jersey for me. I just, like culturally, I cannot connect with the women of Orange County at all.
Yeah.
Like, it just completely seems like a totally different place. Like, barely even seems like America. Um, so there's that, and I just like, I really don't like Tamara. I really don't. I find her like a housewife that many of us can have villains and people who are like unlikable, but they're good for the show. I don't find Tamara even like enjoyable for the show, because I see like what she's doing is so obvious to me, and I also
Yeah.
get frustrated that people don't just call her out for it, and she
Yeah.
just gets a little rat behind the scenes. Like I just don't like that. So, it's tough. But this season has been better than the past
Hmm.
several ones for me. And I like Heather Dubrow. I've always been a
Me
fan.
too.
And I don't totally dislike Emily and Gina as much as most people do. And I'm so happy to like Katie now. I'm thrilled about that because I
Wait, we
didn't.
like Katie?
We like Katie. Yes, we do now.
Okay. Okay, we all passed the Heather Dubrow thing, I think. That was my only thing.
My
Because
dream team currently is Heather Dubrow, Jen, and Katie. Like
oh,
I,
I can see that.
yeah.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Because I
Okay.
really like Jen. I think Jen is like humble in a way that I don't really need in a housewife, but I like it with her. Like she's so tragic and she's so honest about it. Like, and I just enjoy that.
It's the authenticity, Cara.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know, and she got her best line of the last episode. I've
So
never
funny.
been kicked out. Oh, wait. I've been evicted.
The ultimate kick out.
So, okay, I'm entertained by OC. The first couple of seasons, and I think there was a season that was so good, and I was like, you know what, OC's under the radar. Like, I just really enjoyed it. Always delivers, and every season after that, it just kind of tanked and went
Hmm.
to the very bottom. Um, I'm glad they brought Heather back. Heather
Yeah.
did what Tamara thought she was going to do. And you're absolutely right about the whole villain thing. Tamara needs to go to Kenya's masterclass on how to be a villain. Like, just be one. You don't have to act like one, where we can
Hmm.
see every move, every yell, every napkin throw, or
Right.
banging on the table. It's just so obvious that it's just like comical, really.
And even Fun
So,
Camera, where she's like flashing people and touching people's buttholes, and like, I don't want that either. Like, why are you up on a bar with a soda gun trying to spray me like a wet t shirt concert? Like, I don't, that's not fun either. I don't want to experience any of this.
well, on that, I do think like she's never come right out say, but I do think Tamara is into women, but
Mm,
she's just not admitting it because she's always so handsy with all the women
yeah, she is. Hmm.
when they come on, and then she blames the alcohol. But we'll talk about, the alcohol part because I don't know where she gets a leg on to go so hard
Hello.
on Shannon, but that's a whole
Yeah.
different thing. But actually, let us talk about Shannon because Shannon is one of the best additions to a housewife that's not an OG, and she's been tragic since the moment she started. And it's sad for me to say that she's still tragic. How many years later?
Completely. Yeah, yeah. She's
And
very much like Dorinda, where she feels like she's always been there.
yeah, and I was very upset at Shannon with the whole DUI thing.
Yes.
And I I'm trying to find the balance between giving Shannon grace, but also like I don't know if the women are recognizing like what happened, like the pictures, the videos, everything that could have been really bad. Like
Yeah.
someone could have been killed. So the only part where I'm with Tamara is, except that hers is coming from a really bad place, like she just wants to be mean to Shannon, is
Hmm.
like I'm gonna need you to recognize the severity of what happened. Like you saying you have half a shot or whatever or not, like how about we just try to figure out life without drinking, because you really got a second chance at life and you need to admit that this is a problem at this point. And even Gina saying it at the reunion at the time, I don't think we knew it was that bad, but they see things that we don't see. Maybe do a gut check, calling people drunk, talking about your boyfriend. Like,
Totally.
again, at a certain age, 60, you can't still be doing this because it will let you make bad choices. And
Hmm.
that's my only gripe is I just need people to be really honest with Shannon. Like, you gotta do something.
Yeah, but like call her in, not out, Tamara. Like
Yeah.
you can't constantly be like, "Why are you drinking? Is this because you're drinking? Why are you such a drunken whore?" Like it's just so cruel and it's not productive. Like not you being mean to her isn't going to do anything but possibly make her drink secretly. Like I
Yeah.
just nothing in Tamara's delivery is helpful or productive. It's just mean. And it's also like for the cameras. Like she
Yeah.
is a lot like Lala from Vanderpump in that like
Oh
she
God.
tries to like be like we're making a show and I got to do this to make sure that we keep the
Yes.
lights on here and I got to like film and make sure we do this and like I there's no loyalty, there's no friendship and it's just
Yes.
like gross to me.
Yes, that's true. I will say though, I just thought it was so savage of Bravo to bring Alexis Bellino onto this
Very.
season. I
Yeah.
just Shannon is too fragile for this. You cannot
Right. Right.
bring, bring her on there with her ex. But on the flip side, Cara, if they had not done it, a whole bunch of these rabid fans online would have been like, "Oh, why didn't they bring her to see the side? Like that's an opportunity that they missed." Yada yada yada.
Mhm.
But I that was a lot for Shannon to deal with, and then to get another lawsuit after being sued by Alexis and her husband before, or whoever it was. It's kudos to Shannon for even showing up. I would have quit.
Right. Yeah, and really like you're right, like she can never win. Unfortunately, this is her best season and she's scrapping every day because her weird ass ex-boyfriend decided to like latch on Slade style to another woman on this franchise and like try to ruin her life. Fortunately, it's not really working, but it's also like how much is it costing her financially and emotionally?
Yeah, yeah. I just I wish Shannon happiness. That's all. Like
We
it's
all
just this
do.
woman, season after season after season. She's just been through it. So
Mhm.
Um, so you were talking about, being mean, and you think that you're doing she Tamara trying to be a producer. I was gonna say like she could easily take tips from Emily. Emily's mean, but she's just mean naturally.
Right.
She's not trying to produce anything. And like you, I do enjoy Gina and Emily. But my one question is, what does Heather trigger in Emily? Because she just does not like Heather for some reason.
I honestly think I feel like there's like a weight aspect to it. Like feel like with this whole fashion show thing, I think she looks at Heather on some subconscious levels like I need this approval that this woman who's always been naturally thin also sees me as a thin person. Like something about her I think needs that, which is sad because it's like one, not Heather's responsibility, and two, like yeah, that's Emily's stuff. Um, but yeah, like there is something about Heather in general, even before this, that seems to
Yeah.
irk Emily. And I don't know, I think she just feels like she's probably pretentious, which she is, which is why I love her.
Yeah. Like Heather has money. Why do they want her to be humble? I don't want that.
Right.
She's fucking rich and
But
she
then,
revels in it.
right, but then they do things like get upset with her because she didn't personally tell them about her record-breaking home sale. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Well, what are you mad about?" I just can't imagine like I'm trying to think in my real life, why would I care? Why would I care? Why would I care? I'm trying to think like my best friend sold her house for a record breaking thing, I'd be like, oh, cool. But like, I wouldn't be like, why didn't you tell me personally? That's like a
Yeah.
front on our friendship. Like, that would never even occur to me.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
I think last season they were committed to misunderstanding Heather, and I think most of the beef was the fact that Heather was marketed as coming back to quote unquote save the show. And I
Hmm.
think that really pissed them off because basically you're saying that we're not good enough.
Right.
And
Right.
you're bringing Heather back. And I think Tamara wanted to have a part in that. And she really tried so hard to take down Heather. And when that didn't work, all of a sudden she wants to move on,
Hmm.
um, and play nice. But then I, I can see that part, but also, like you said, I think you're right. Into maybe the weight thing is what triggers Emily, but she's very triggered by Heather, and in some way, she hates her, but she wants her approval. So there's a lot to unpack, and I hope she gets to unpack it, and she gets to enjoy all her hard work. Like she works out, she does what she lost a significant amount of weight. Like at some point, just your praise is enough.
Yeah,
You're,
she needs to just like find the love within, because the gag is about Emily is she's gorgeous.
yeah,
Like regardless. Like she could
yeah,
gain 75 pounds and still be one of the baddest housewives ever. Like she's so
yeah.
pretty. So yeah, like find that love from within, girl. And like not on the reunion couch. I can't take another conversation about this.
She just needs to stop being triggered because she was triggered by Jen also, and she just starts yelling. And I think it was really cool of Gina trying to talk to her, but then she got mad at her. But I'm like,
Right.
who else is going to tell you that? Like, no one else is going to tell you. And if she doesn't tell you and says it in a confessional, you're going to bring that up again at the reunion and
Hmm.
just start yelling over her. But
Right.
speaking of Gina, what is this whole Travis situation? What's your take on that?
It's annoying. I find it very annoying when we have like what I call ghosts on the show. It's like people like obviously there's something going on with Travis's ex, but we can't talk about it. And
Yeah,
so it's like I'm dealing with somebody like I don't know Travis's ex. I don't know what the issue is. But what I do know is that it's your whole storyline, but like we can't know the whole truth. And so I just don't I'm like, "Ugh, okay, I just don't get it. I wish that there was something that like she could tell us that I'd be like, okay, there's that. But like, we're not even
yeah.
getting that. Not even a hint of what the hell's going on, other than the ex is being difficult. But
So do,
I don't get it.
so my understanding of it is that she's asking for more money that he has to pay, and she's just like, I'm not going to have like a joint account or anything with you where you have to pay her, so then I have to carry the financial burden for all six of our children and ourselves. So I'd rather keep our finances separate. Are you saying you think like there's more that's not being said?
Yeah, because I mean, like, I don't understand the. Yeah, I guess I don't. I guess I wonder if they're like in limbo because if Travis puts like more money into a bigger house for all of them, then maybe like do they think that the ex-wife is going to start demanding more money because like you said like they're pooling in Gina's money
Yeah.
and then he's like paying too much or not too much but you know what I mean like um I'm just like I just see I don't have an answer so I kind of
Okay. I just thought she didn't like, she's not in love with him anymore, but doesn't know how to break up because he put up
right
with her shit. And it was a
right
lot. And
right
now all of a sudden you pulled yourself out of it and you're like, I don't need this anymore. Because what is the point of moving out and saying, hopefully we get back? Like, do you think he's on demand? And you're like, move out. Okay, now
right.
come back in. And then,
And
like,
also the fact that she seems confused as to why he would be annoyed. Like, please don't make
yeah,
me like stand up for a man. Like, you have
yeah,
to understand why he would feel rejected, frustrated, like his relationship was on shaky ground, like he might lash out on occasion because you're seemingly just like pushing him out of the home and then giving him no like aftercare.
yeah,
And like you seem so confused as to why he might have any feelings behind this. It's frustrating to me.
yes. Every day I wake up and I'm expecting breaking news. Emily, sorry, Gina, I can't remember her last name, starts with a K, is broken up with her boyfriend Travis, but every day they're still together. So,
Shocking.
like,
It's shocking.
it's very surprising. Um, do you want to talk about Jen? Another
Sure.
great addition. I
Love her.
I think she's great, but then if you ask me what is it about Jen, I don't know that I have a lot. She's a good supporting character. Is that a good
Yeah, I
characterization of
think
her?
I think there's just something about her that I just find very likable, very personable. She doesn't try to hide. She's just like very warts and all. She's very vulnerable and like she just isn't, I don't know, just something very humble about her, and I just really like her. I don't know. Yeah, I can't explain it either, but there's just something very likable about her.
I want to use the word naive,
Mm,
but I don't know if that's too strong or if she's aware of things but just doesn't want to face things. She just seems like the kind that runs away from conflict, but that's also wrong because she does stand up to Tamara. I appreciate that
yeah,
about her, where she looks like a wounded bird, but when she needs to stand up for herself, she actually does.
right.
So,
Yeah, I think she is naive in the sense that like she's made it to this age and she really hasn't like but I think this happens to many women who get
yeah,
married young and don't, have a career, and
yeah,
things happen and then you find yourself single, you got these kids, you're trying to figure things out financially, you don't have the background and you're like, "Oh fuck, what do I do?" This is not
hmm
like an uncommon story whatsoever. So I don't know why Tamra, who is also a single mother, is acting like it is. Um but yeah, I mean that aspect I think is very naive, but like there's also the awareness of like her thanking her parents for like sliding
yeah,
her a little money on the Cash App, like things like that.
yeah,
Like, I can appreciate seeing that.
yeah. That's true. Now, her relationship with Ryan, do you think that's gonna last?
No.
Really?
I don't think it's like a lack of love. They're too, well, Ryan's strange, and I find it odd that anybody would love him. Not that he's like a mean person, he's just weird. Um, but I think I don't see them making it down the aisle. I don't.
So, well, I was gonna say, if anyone was gonna love Ryan, it would be someone like Jen. I think that's where the
Mhm.
naivete comes in, kind
Yeah.
of, because you can get away with a bunch of stuff with her.
Right.
But this whole fight, this whole thing, I mean, that's another Tamara production because honestly, the whole worry about you and Ryan, yes, it was a dig, but I think Tamara found a way to talk about my child. I hate when housewives weaponize their children, by the way. And they
Yeah.
do that a
Same.
lot. You're hurting my children. How would they feel? Like, say with your chest that you're offended. Like, don't bring the children about it into it. But when Ryan had a confessional and he said something like Tamara's unhappy in her marriage, he's not the first person to say it. Do you think Tamara and Eddie are having issues?
I do. There just seems to be like Eddie just seems tired in a way that I don't remember him being before. Like
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe, and I'm like I said earlier, I'm not like the biggest Orange County fan, so maybe my
yeah,
memory is not correct, but I just feel like I remember him being willing to play a little bit more, and now
yes.
maybe, I mean, he just seems like embarrassed and like he doesn't really want to be around.
Yes, that last episode he was very resigned, like I'm just here so I don't get fined or something. And
Yeah.
then, it's not a good look when your husband tells the host to cut you off of drinks, when you tell your
Mhm.
wife, "Oh, don't drink," and then when she's being belligerent. In fact, she went to the car and Eddie was still comfortable at the dinner table,
Very
sitting.
comfortable. Yeah.
He
Mhm.
didn't go after her. It was Katie that was like, you might want to go
Right.
to Tara. So, yeah, I too think there's trouble somewhere in paradise, but I don't know if Eddie's too tired to do anything about it. He's just gonna stay.
Yeah,
Just
I would see them breaking up next year. I would not be surprised.
yeah. Although Tamara would do anything for a storyline.
Right.
So, we never know.
We'll see.
Okay, so we can round out with Katie. What is your journey with her? Because you said we like her now, so
Yeah,
what's
I
new?
found her coming on with I still don't really understand what her point was with Heather. Um, I I don't care. Like, I feel like, okay, if she called the paparazzi, okay, so then what? Like, why am I supposed to
Yep.
care? Like, did anybody die? Like, what happened?
Yep.
Like, what is this? What larger point is being made? But since she's let the mouse go on that, I'm like, she's really been fine for me. Like, I think that she's really good about like I love seeing more about her culture. I think I like her friendship
Mhm.
with Jen a lot. Like,
Yeah.
they seem really like chill with each other. And, like, I like how she has been navigating the women outside of Heather.
Yeah. I can agree to that. I think that whole thing with Heather was a misstep. And I think these are the times where people who don't like Heather, this could probably be an example where Katie is trying to move forward, but Heather is just like, I'm just gonna hold on to this till the day I die, and we're just
Mm,
gonna move forward. So, Heather can be, what's the nice way to say it? She can have a stick up her ass,
yeah.
because that whole thing with her husband, I was like, he wasn't even talking to her or scolding her. I was confused. I actually rewound it to be like, what did he say that was so terrible? But Terry stood
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
ground.
Right.
So, yeah. But I mean, they just filmed the reunion, so we're wrapping it up.
Yeah, I'm looking
Almost.
forward to it.
Yeah. I hope they don't shake up the cast.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Okay. It's cool. Any other housewives thoughts
No, I
that you
think we
have?
got it all.
Yes, we did. This was so much fun. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
You are most welcome. Can you share with the people where they can find you, where they can listen to you?
Yeah, my podcast is called Everyone's Business But Mine. You can find me everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can follow me on Instagram at Everyone's Business But Mine.
Yes. And that's it for this week, guys. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at AltarCallMAFS. That's ALTARCALLMAFS. We love hearing from you guys on social media. We're available anywhere you listen to podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And I will be here next week with the premiere of Maths, which you're not going to watch, Car, are you?
No, I will not. Good luck to you. Godspeed.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you again for coming by, and bye, guys.